Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk about Black History Month. The month that is a celebration of my people, because I am a black man and everything. And it's about all our accomplishments, all the oppression that we have gone through over like centuries of living in like America and stuff like that. And even till this day, we are still being oppressed. And so I'm here today to talk to you about certain characters or TV shows or episodes that revolve around Black History Month that I personally enjoy. So I'm here today to talk to you about Luther, Season 1, Episode 2. So Luther is an extremely good British crime drama that is very gritty. They do not shy away from blood or disturbing stuff. Why? Because they're from Europe. Over here in America, that stuff would have been censored and very watered down. But when I say this show is gritty and dark, oh boy, I am not kidding. And Luther, of course, stars Idris Elba. I hate saying his name. Idris Elba. It's so hard to pronounce. And he plays John Luther, a very unique detective. John Luther never carries a gun, even though he is a cop. Instead, he talks his villains down. Even when they have guns in his face and beat the crap out of him. It's very odd. But there are some people that do that, Some cops that don't use guns and they instead use their voice. I don't know how effective it is, but hey, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so, this show lasted, I believe, for 5 seasons. Every season is good except for the very last one. The last season was only 4 episodes, and the story was not that compelling. Also, they brought somebody who we thought was dead back from the dead, but that was probably because that person was a fan favorite, but it just ruined it. And then, so I'm going to say Alba. He is pretty much done with this show. He hopes probably one day he'll come back, but it'll be better than what was going on towards the end of the series and stuff. And so in the first episode, we get to see what he is like. Like I told you before, he's chasing down this bad guy. The bad guy is in a factory. He falls down into this thing where he catches himself, but John does not help him get up. Instead, this man is a cruel, evil man who done things to women and stuff. And so after giving up where the body is and stuff, John lets him fall to his death. This causes him to be suspended and go to rehab. And during this time, his wife has decided she's going to cheat on him while he's in rehab recovering and stuff. And so the thing about him is revealed that he is a very angry man. That when he does find out his wife is cheating on him, he kicks down the door, he breaks it with his fist. He's a very angry person, but he is a good cop who is able to decipher things very quickly and read people. This causes people around him to wonder sometimes if they can trust him, because he's a bit too erratic and everything. And so when he finds out that his wife is having an affair, he gets into a confrontation with his wife's new lover. Also, he's tracking down this murderer that shot this one girl's father, mother, and shot the dog in the face. But then he realizes that the daughter is the one who committed these crimes. Her name is Alice. He determined that because when he was telling her all the sad stuff that happened to her family, she had no remorse and she did not blink her eyes, not once, trying to do a rehearse type thing. Then they tried to find the murder weapon, which they could not find. She stuffed it inside the dog's body. And then so when the dog got cremated, it destroyed the gun. And she only kept bits and pieces of the gun in her home. Since there wasn't enough evidence to convict her, she had been let go, but she turns out to be a criminal mastermind who is now obsessed with that of John Luther. She starts investigating him. She threatens his wife by putting a needle in her ear and threatens to kill her. But the wife never saw what her face looked like because she came up behind her. And so Luther tells her straight up, he's going to find Alice and he's going to stop her. But the crimes are causing him to prevent him from doing that, which brings us to this episode. So we see like this homeless looking man sitting out under the bridge. Two cops drive by to see what's wrong with the homeless man, and all of a sudden he shoots them point blank in the face. The man gets up and walks away. So now they have a cop killer on their hands. And so they have no idea who this cop killer is. At this point in time, Mark, who got into a confrontation with Luther, who is the lover of his wife Zoe, had decided not to press charges on him. Because Zoe still cares for him a little bit and doesn't want him to lose his job. And so Luther, like I said, is very eccentric. He likes to stand on the rooftop near the edge, and people think at times he's going to jump, but he doesn't. And Reeds is one of those cops who's like, thinks that, you know, he was going to jump, and maybe he's kind of like, you know, a bit over his head and stuff like that. So, like, at some point in time, the killer dude strikes again, but this time in broad daylight, and he shoots a female cop, but she survives, sees his face, IDs him. He's a former military man named Owen Lynch. And so they have no idea why he's killing like these cops. But then after doing some background research on him, it is determined that like his father is in jail. His father is named Terry. His father, when Owen was in Iraq, his father Terry ended up killing a cop that tried to arrest him. So he got the maximum sentence instead of like a 5-year sentence for manslaughter. Anyways, Terry is stepping up his game now, and he made a video online telling that the killings will continue until like his father is released. When I say this dude kills people point blank and they don't shy away from blood, boy, you see it splat. Like, it is very gritty. So at some point in time, the police chief lady, she decides to kind of like, after they know where Owens lives at and where the thing was broadcast at, they decided to just rush in and go capture him without taking any safety precautions. Owen has now become a domestic terrorist and then created a household bomb. Tons of cops are inside looking for him, and he detonates the bomb, killing tons of cops. As a result, their squadron, or their precinct, whatever you call it, is no longer on this case. But John Luther is not going to let this slide. At some point in time, he gets a call from like Alice, taunting him about why did he let that man fall and all this other stuff. And he tells Alice straight up, you threatened my wife. If I find you, I will kill you and everything. And so like, she is literally becoming obsessed with him. And so like, John has decided to pay Owen's father, Terry, a visit in prison. And Terry just wants out, plain and simple. But, you know, Luther's all like, look, man, we ain't going to reduce your sentence, nothing like that. You killed the cop. Now, I remember I had a friend in college who was studying to be a cop. He tells me that cop killers are number one, like, butt kicking. You know, like, when a cop is killed, cops are united as one, and they take down those cop killers. And they have, like, no remorse for them because they think of themselves as, like, family. And so, like, Owen is on number one again, that butt kicking list. So, like, Luther tells, like, you know, Terry that I'm gonna lie about your son and tell him that you used to molest little boys and this and that to piss him off. Well, at some point in time, Terry breaks down and confesses some embarrassing stories about Owen, about how he wets the bed and stuff like that. And so Luther has decided the best way to bring Owen out is to make himself the prime target and not other cops. So he makes a deal with the news people, and while on there, he's spreading both truth and lies about Owen, making himself target number one, talking about how Owen's father like messed around with little boys, how Owen wets the bed, and all this other stuff, how he's like a failure, how he's a disgrace to his military thing. This causes Owen to go on their deep end. And so Luther tells him to meet him at a certain location. his cops are kind of like, what the world is he doing? But they decide to go along with it, using him as bait. Zoe sees this, and so at some point Luther calls her because, of course, Alice threatened Luther's life and threatened her life. So he tells her to get out the country. She's about to, until Mark's all like, you can't trust anything John says, like he's crazy and all this other stuff. So he has her call Luther and all this other stuff. And so for some reason, she believes that Luther is lying. She's a very odd woman, she is, and stuff. And until Alice actually shows up at Zoe's place, and is like just taunting her and all this other crap and other stuff, but she doesn't like kill her, nothing like that, or Mark. So now Zoe knows for a fact Luther is telling the truth. So anyway, so Luther is at the like site where he is like looking to meet Owen. Owen shows up. Of course, Luther does not have a gun. Owen comes in with like a gun, and him and Luther are talking. He's ready to shoot Luther, but then he decides to pistol whip him. Luther's kind of like in this almost crying kind of state, talking about how like, man, I understand like what your dad did to you and everything. Like, you never even wanted to join the military. Your dad forced you to join the military, and your dad was a very abusive father. Now, this part was true. Owen never wanted to join. He just did make his dad proud. His dad used to be verbally abusive and physically hit him for like wetting the bed and everything like that. And Owen joined to prove to his father he can be a real man. After a huge discussion and a huge pistol whipping, like Luther's face is bloody, blood dripping from the side of his head, dripping from his mouth, everything. And so as this is going on, Reed tells the commanding officer that he thinks Luther is going there to commit suicide and have Owen kill him because he saw him on that ledge. So now they're kind of worried about Luther. After some more pistol whipping and some more like crying and some more like talk to talk, Owen decides he's gonna give up and like decides like, that he never wanted to do this stuff and all this other stuff, but then he decides to play Russian roulette with him and Luther with one bullet in the revolver. So after like spinning it around, he goes to Luther's head, he goes to his head. By the fifth time, it lands on Luther's head. So Owen knows the sixth one is for him. As he's about to commit suicide, Luther and him struggle to the ground, where Luther puts a butt whooping on him. He cuffs and he handcuffs him and everything, and takes him in. It was a very risky move to do what Luther did, but somehow he was able to prevail. Now, when it comes to Owen, the commanding officer cop lady tells him that, your dad killed one person, one cop, but you killed several. So it looks really bad for you. But because you went through so much trauma, we'll just say that your dad convinced you to do all these killings and this and that so that you can get a reduced sentence and everything. But then Owen decides he's not going to go along with that and just starts stating his name and rank and everything. And so he decided he's going to do the maximum prison sentence for all his cop killings and stuff. Why they tried to give him a reduced deal, I don't know, because his dad never told him to go do that stuff. Oh, no, wait, his dad did. I forgot. See, they found out that his dad's been having secret conversations with that of his son via like a cell phone. So I totally forgot about that part. But he decides he's not going to do that and, just like take his medicine and everything, take his punishment. So then after that, we see Luther, he's hanging out outside, and here comes Alice. He tells Alice, plain and simple, you ever threaten my wife again, I will murder you. But then for some bizarre reason, him and her decide to get lunch together. Those two have a very odd, weird relationship throughout the entire like series and everything. And it gets even more stranger after that, after like this season and stuff. Like I said before, Luther is a very good cop show. It's very dark, it's very gritty. They don't shy away from nothing and everything. And it's kind of how cop drama should be, but of course in America it's kind of watered down because they don't want to like influence people, which I understand. Happy Black History Month, everybody. I'll talk to you later. Bye.